Hello everybody, this is Hollywood Joe from Hollywood's World of Sports, bringing you, for the first time in quite a bit, another WWE DVD review. And last night, actually more like yesterday morning, went out and purchased the Best of Monday Nitro WCW Volume 2. Now, about a year or so ago, they came out with Volume 1. It was a huge success. And so they decided to make another one, because obviously one DVD isn't going to cover all the great matches and moments in WCW Nitro history. So I really enjoyed this DVD. I thought it had some great matches, some great moments. A lot of people are bickering though that it has too much NWO in it, but you gotta look at it from the point of view that if the NWO wasn't around back then, WCW might have not as been successful. So one thing that really kind of sparked me in this DVD is watching the Cruiserweight matches, and what I mean by that is looking what WCW did with the Cruiserweights. I really wish that WWE would bring back the Cruiserweight division and sign, like, maybe a dozen and a half Cruiserweights from Mexico, and have some of the high flyers around the indies that are known to be good high flyers. They need to make the Cruiserweight division again in WWE. Because the way WCW did it, I don't think anything will ever top the WCW Cruiserweight division in terms of, Lucha Libre and Luchadors and high flyers. Out of all the things that WCW did right, that was one of the major things that they did right, was the Cruiserweight division. And so, I would love to see guys like Rey Mysterio, Sin Cara, even Daniel Bryan, some of the lighter guys in WWE that can fly around, head up this Cruiserweight division. So that's one thing that kind of took away from watching these DVDs. And I gotta tell you, like I said, this was a entirely awesome DVD. I really enjoyed some of the matches. I probably think, obviously, on my favorite match on here had to been it was the WCW United States Champion, Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper won the United States title from Bret, which was awesome because nobody saw that coming. Piper was pretty much out of his prime by then. So awesome match that saw Will Sasso get involved and cost Piper the title, or cost Bret the title to Piper. So I also enjoyed the other thing I enjoyed was remembering the match where Diamond Dallas Page dressed up as La Parka and beat the Macho Man Randy Savage. I always enjoyed that match as well. So a lot of great matches on this DVD. If you were a fan of WCW back then, this is a must see. And even if you're a new wrestling fan that didn't watch during the Monday Night Wars, it's always a cool thing to kind of educate yourself on what happened from 1995 to 2001. And I gotta tell you, out of all the guys that were in WCW that came to WWE, Booker T has probably been the most successful. He just evolved so much in WCW and continued to evolve in WWE, and he should be very proud of the accomplishments he's made in pro wrestling. So the other thing I took away, my girlfriend actually brought this up to me when we were watching it together. She's like, Sting is probably the greatest wrestler to ever not wrestle for WWE. And that's so true. Sting accomplished so much under WCW and NWA. And he's accomplished a lot in TNA. I mean, I honestly think TNA would be dead right now if it weren't for Sting. And Sting, I have to agree with it. I have to agree with my girlfriend on this. Sting is the greatest pro wrestler, sports entertainer, whatever you want to call him, to never wrestle for WWE. He's made a huge legacy without even wrestling one match there. So, just think about that and think about just how great Sting is. The other thing I took away, and the last thing I took away from this, is I remember about, probably within a year before Nitro started, actually it was 1995, they got rid of Jean-Paul Levesque, who is now known as Triple H. They got rid of Cactus Jack, Mick Foley, whatever you want to call him. They got rid of Vader within the first 2 Nitros. And I think about those 3 guys. What if those 3 guys, Cactus Jack, Big Van Vader, and Jean-Paul Levesque, would have stayed with WWE? Or not WWE, with WCW. You see, I'm thinking WWE because it's WWE produced. But I think about how much of a difference that would have been, just those 3 guys alone, if they would have stayed with WCW and been given the opportunities that they got in WWE. Because Mick Foley, say what you will, yeah, he made a name for himself in WCW and ECW, but his legend, his legacy is really revolved around WWE based on some of the things he did. Jean-Paul Levesque, probably one of the most accomplished wrestlers I've ever seen. And WCW dropped the ball there, big time. Big time. And Big Van Vader, we all know the story about that. I'm not going to go into detail, but former world champion, should not have left WCW. Bischoff should have tried harder to keep him. So, I think about those 3 guys and how they all got released right, just as Nitro was starting to launch or getting ready to launch. I also think about guys like Edge, Rhino, and Christian, who all had tryout matches with WCW shortly after the launch of, Nitro and stuff like that. What if WWE would have, not have signed them and they would have ended up in WCW? There's a lot of ifs. But I will say this. It's a good thing Shawn Michaels didn't go to WCW like he wanted to after Hall and Nash left. It's a good thing WCW dropped the ball with Bret Hart, because of all of these things that I just brought up would have happened. Would have happened. If they all would have happened perfectly, WCW would still be in business. WWE might be out of business. There would be no TNA. WCW, from about 1995, from 95 till Nitro started, until that first episode of 1999 when the finger poke of doom happened with Hogan and Nash, WCW has had some of the best wrestling television you could ever see. So, with that being said, pick up this DVD, because, like I said, it will make you think about a lot. It'll make you think about how great WCW really was and how they screwed it up in the end. And obviously you can see the cover here. Look who a lot of big names on the cover. You can see the back here. Got some matches here with, I think it was Nash and Goldberg and Hogan and Savage. And front cover here, Bret Hart versus Piper, Booker T. Let's see. And we'll insert here Sting versus Vampiro, which that was another botched rivalry that didn't go over so well, but let's show the little sidebar here so you can see the name of it. That's the best way to look for it in stores. But WCW, Best of Monday Nitro Volume 2. Get it now. Good stuff. Hosted by Diamond Dallas Page. Great guy. Very, very energetic, very emotional on certain things. And, you know, DDP is another one of those guys I loved watching in the ring. And I miss seeing him. I wish he could wrestle again. So, with that being said, this is Hollywood Joe Williamson with another DVD review from Hollywood's World of Sports. Remembering that it's your source for all things sports. And always, controversy doesn't come without criticism. Thank you, and have a good night.